Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into a story that's full of, well, grit, determination, and maybe just a touch of sibling rivalry.
You got it.
Yeah,
We're talking about the Wright brothers.
yeah. Specifically, we're diving into David McCullough's book, The Wright Brothers.
Great one.
Get ready for a journey that goes way beyond those grade school history lessons.
Right.
Because this book is packed with fascinating insights, little details you never knew.
So many. McCullough really does a fantastic job of painting this complete picture of these two men, not just as inventors, but as individuals, with complex personalities, deeply shaped by their lives, by their experiences.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. The book starts with their father, Bishop Wright.
Yeah.
Right. And he seems like he played a huge role in shaping their intellectual curiosity.
Absolutely. Bishop Wright wasn't your typical, I guess you could say, Victorian-era dad. He put a huge emphasis on reading, exploration, thinking critically.
Yeah.
He even brought home this toy helicopter for his young sons.
Whoa.
Think about that, fostering a love for flight right from the start. It was
Yeah.
a nurturing environment, crucial to their development,
That's amazing. And it wasn't just about, tinkering in the garage.
Right.
The book even mentions Wilbur's love for art, which I
Yeah.
thought was so surprising.
That's one of the things I love about this book. It really challenges those stereotypical images we have, like the grease monkey inventor.
Mhm.
Wilbur was a frequent visitor to the Louvre when he was in Paris.
Wow.
And you have to wonder, did seeing all those masterpieces, the lines, the forms, did that somehow inform his approach to aircraft design?
Hmm.
It's an interesting thought.
It makes you realize their genius was more than just technical. It was artistic, too.
Yeah.
But their journey wasn't always smooth sailing, right?
Oh.
The book talks about Wilbur going through a period of real isolation, even depression, after a pretty traumatic event.
It's true. That part really, I think it humanizes Wilbur. He wasn't just this brilliant mind. He was a complex person, faced real struggles,
Yeah.
This period of introspection, though, as difficult as it was, it might have fueled his determination to achieve something extraordinary. You know what I mean?
It's a good reminder that behind every success, there's a whole human story, right? Full of those the ups and downs.
Absolutely.
And speaking of remarkable people, we can't forget Catherine Wright.
Oh, no way.
The book, it paints her as this force of nature, not just a supportive sister, but a crucial player in everything.
Catherine was the glue. She held everything together. While Wilbur and Orville were off experimenting, she was the one managing the business, handling correspondence, dealing with the press.
Wow.
Imagine that pressure, running a business and worrying about your brothers risking their necks in these, well, frankly, pretty flimsy contraptions.
She sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that McCullough includes these little details like Catherine packing evening gowns for her trip to Europe with Orville.
Oh, yeah.
Like she knew how to celebrate their success in style.
Exactly. They weren't just robots obsessed with flight. They had lives, personalities, They enjoyed things.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about some of the, I guess, the thrills and spills of their journey.
Okay.
The book, it doesn't shy away from how dangerous their experiments were.
No, not at all.
That boat trip to Kitty Hawk, I mean, it sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine rough seas, this flat-bottomed boat loaded with all this fragile equipment, and the constant fear of capsizing.
Yikes.
It's incredible that they even made it to Kitty Hawk at all,
It really does.
let alone achieved powered flight,
It puts their perseverance in a whole new light. I mean, most people wouldn't even attempt a camping trip at those conditions, let alone try to launch themselves into the air.
Right.
And then there's that near-fatal crash at Fort Myer.
Yeah.
That must have been terrifying.
It was a real reminder of the risks. The public, they were captivated by the idea of flight, but McCullough makes sure we understand the danger these men faced.
Yeah.
Orville was seriously injured. It's amazing he survived.
It is.
And don't forget about the incident where an engine piston head almost hit Wilbur during flight preparations.
Wait, what? I mean, I knew early flight was dangerous, but that's next level.
It was.
These weren't just calculations on paper. They were literally putting their lives on the line every time.
Exactly. It makes their success even more remarkable. Amidst all the drama and danger, McCullough, he does sprinkle in these hilarious little anecdotes. They really give you a glimpse into their personalities.
Oh, tell me about that story of Catherine dressing up Wilbur for his big speech.
Oh, right. Here's this genius about to give this landmark talk on their invention.
Yeah.
And he's wearing his brother's clothes because Catherine insisted. It perfectly captures their sibling dynamic and Wilbur's awkwardness with formalities, you know. It makes you wonder if he was more comfortable with a wrench than a pin.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a great reminder that they were real people, not just names in a history book.
Right.
They had their quirks, their anxieties, their moments of humor, just like everyone else.
Speaking of humor, I love Orville's dry wit in his letters. There's this part where he's talking about attending all these churches in Europe, and he says, not getting drunk yet.
Oh, that's classic Orville.
Yeah,
Little jab at European customs, but it's hilarious.
Yeah. Shows they didn't take themselves too seriously, even with all the attention they were getting.
Their sense of humor, it seems like it was a constant throughout their journey.
It was. Remember how Wilbur jokingly called himself a dub compared to Orville when Orville started having all this success in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah.
Even with all their accomplishments, that playful competitiveness never went away.
Or their sense of adventure. That story about their sleeping arrangements at Kitty Hawk is priceless.
Oh, I love that one. Wilbur in a good bed, Orville on boards, and their friend Furnace on the floor. Each one claiming their method was the best.
That is so them.
It is.
It just shows their adaptability, finding humor even when things are uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Which, when you think about it, was probably a key part of their success.
Yeah.
I mean, they faced so much skepticism and disbelief when they first announced their invention.
Oh, yeah. Remember that Dayton newspaper editor? The one who totally dismissed their first successful flight?
It's mind-blowing. Such a missed opportunity.
It really was. It shows how groundbreaking achievements can be overlooked, you know?
Right.
Especially when they challenge how we think about things.
And it wasn't just in their hometown.
Right.
The French press, I mean, they were incredibly skeptical too, accusing them of faking their flights.
Yeah, they had to fight for recognition every step of the way.
Makes you realize innovation always faces resistance. I think we can be so resistant to change, especially when it disrupts how we understand the world.
It's true.
But the Wright brothers didn't let that stop them.
No, they did not. They had this unwavering belief in their work, the courage to keep pushing forward even when everyone doubted them.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of those moments that changed everything. Wilbur's first successful public flight in France.
Yeah.
That was huge, right?
Game changer. That flight was a spectacle. He silenced those critics, captivated the crowds. He proved to the world that heavier than air flight, it was possible.
The book, it describes this awe in the crowd.
Yeah.
Watching those controlled flights, you could practically feel the magic of that moment.
I know. Seeing a machine actually defy gravity, gracefully soar through the air.
And it wasn't just, everyday people.
Right.
Even Edith Wharton, the famous novelist, she was blown away by Comte de Lambert flying over Paris.
Oh, yeah.
Her account, it really captures the wonder of those early flights.
It was a truly transformative moment in history. Imagine seeing that for the first time. This machine, heavier than air, just soaring effortlessly above you.
It must have felt like magic.
It did.
It must have been an incredible time to be alive, to see those impossible dreams actually taking flight. And then there was Wilbur's triumphant flight up the Hudson River, battling winds, drawing huge crowds.
That flight solidified their place in history, showed their mastery of the air, their ability to control the machine even in, challenging conditions, and their courage to push boundaries.
It's amazing to think just a few years earlier, they were struggling to get their glider off the ground in Kitty Hawk.
Right.
And now they're flying over New York City.
It's a testament to their relentless pursuit of their dream. They never gave up. They never settled. They never stopped innovating.
And what's even more remarkable is that even with all the fame and recognition, they never seemed to let it go to their heads.
It's true.
They stayed grounded, focused on their work, committed to their vision.
Exactly. They were driven by a passion for innovation, not by ego, not by the desire for wealth or anything like that.
It's a valuable lesson for all of us. Staying true to yourself, to your passions, even in the middle of all that success. It's a powerful thing.
It's about the journey, the pursuit of knowledge, the drive to achieve something truly remarkable.
And that brings us to the end of part 1 of our deep dive into the Wright brothers.
Wow.
We've explored their intellectual depth, their their personal struggles, their thrilling accomplishments, and their unwavering commitment to their craft.
It's incredible. Welcome back to our deep dive into the world of the Wright brothers. We left off talking about their triumphant flights, all that global recognition, but their journey, it wasn't over.
Not even close.
Hmm.
The book really dives into some of those challenges they faced even after, well, after achieving powered flight. I was surprised to learn about all the business deals, the negotiations.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just about inventing, it was about protecting that invention, making it commercially viable.
It's fascinating, right? These two guys from this small town in Ohio, they're suddenly thrust onto the world stage dealing with, governments, military officials, businessmen.
Talk about a crash course.
Yeah.
But it sounds like from what I read, Wilbur especially handled it all with, with remarkable composure, even injecting a little of his dry humor.
Oh, absolutely. Remember those letters he wrote to Orville from Paris, describing those dealings with French officials?
Yeah.
He called them bluffers,
Hmm.
who saw the Wrights as these worthless people trying to peddle something of no value.
It's almost comical now looking back. But it shows how much skepticism, how much resistance they faced.
It does. It's a reminder that even those groundbreaking inventions, they often face an uphill battle, especially when they're disrupting industries, challenging how things are done.
And it wasn't just Europe.
Right.
McCullough talks about competitors, even skeptics here in America who tried to downplay their achievements.
Exactly. The book introduces us to Glenn Curtis. He was a talented aviator and engineer himself, a major rival. It was that intense competition, I think, that pushed the field of aviation forward, both in terms of technological innovation, but also just business savvy.
The rivalry between the Wrights and Curtis, that's a whole other story.
It is.
They were constantly pushing each other to innovate, to improve their designs, but their relationship was also full of, legal battles and patent disputes.
Yeah, McCullough doesn't sugarcoat it. Shows us that the race to the skies wasn't always friendly.
It's a classic example of how progress, how it often comes from both collaboration and competition.
It's true. But amidst all that, the Wright brothers, they never seem to lose sight of their core mission, advancing the science of flight, making it useful.
It's inspiring. They weren't motivated by fame or fortune or any of that. It was this passion, this drive to understand how things work.
That dedication, it's evident in their work ethic, too. They were constantly experimenting, refining their designs, taking risks to improve those machines. Even after achieving sustained flight, they didn't stop.
It's incredible. Their trips to Kitty Hawk, they weren't vacations. They were intense periods of work. The book describes their living conditions, and it was, simple, Spartan, sometimes uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
But they were willing to endure that, to pursue their dream.
That resilience, that willingness to embrace discomfort and just keep pushing forward, that's a key takeaway from their story.
Yeah.
It applies to more than just aviation.
It's about those passions, those unwavering commitments, even when you're facing obstacles and challenges.
Speaking of pushing forward, the book highlights the impact their invention had. It wasn't just a technological thing. It was a cultural shift.
Oh, absolutely. The world was just fascinated by the idea of human flight. The Wright brothers became global celebrities, symbols of ingenuity, of human potential. Suddenly, the sky wasn't this limit. It was a new frontier.
I love the descriptions of Wilbur's flights in France. Massive crowds, newspapers, even royalty clamoring to see these demonstrations.
It was a phenomenon.
It was a real testament to how innovation can inspire people. But their impact, it wasn't limited to, just entertainment.
Right.
The Wright brothers, they saw the practical applications of their invention, especially for the military.
They actively pursued those government contracts, showcasing how the airplane, how it could be used for reconnaissance, even combat.
Yeah.
It's a complex part of their legacy. Highlights how technological advancements, they're not always simple.
It's true. It's a reminder that progress, it's not always a straight line. Innovations, they often have these unintended consequences,
Yeah.
And the Wright brothers, they had to grapple with that as their invention was used for things beyond their initial vision.
It's a lot to think about.
Right.
But there's no denying the impact they had on the world. They literally opened up the skies, sparking a whole new era of, everything. Transportation, exploration, global connectivity.
Their invention, it transformed warfare, it revolutionized travel, and it sparked countless other innovations, things that shape the world we live in now. But their legacy, It's more than just the practical applications of flight. It's about the human spirit,
Yeah.
the power of perseverance, the belief that anything is possible if you dream big and you work hard.
Their story, it's this timeless reminder that knowledge, innovation, they can lead to breakthroughs
Yeah.
and shape the world in ways we can't even imagine.
It's amazing. And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive into the world of the Wright brothers.
Welcome back, deep divers. We're in the final leg of our journey through David McCullough's The Wright Brothers.
It's been quite a ride.
It has, from that little bicycle shop in Dayton to, well, conquering the skies above Paris.
And as we wrap things up, I think it's important to remember what makes their story so enduring, so captivating. It's more than just inventing the airplane. It's about who these men were.
That's what really struck me, too. They achieved global fame, recognition, yet they never seemed to let it change them.
It's true. It would have been so easy to get swept up in it all, but they stayed, grounded, focused on their work.
Yeah.
Remember how Wilbur, how he preferred to spend his free time in Paris?
Yeah.
Just wandering the city, exploring museums, or just enjoying the quiet.
Oh, yeah.
It really says a lot about their priorities. They weren't in it for ego or the money.
Right.
It was a genuine love for what they were doing.
Absolutely. A passion for pushing those boundaries.
And that's perfectly reflected in their decision to go back to Dayton.
Oh, yeah.
They could have stayed in Europe, enjoying all that adulation.
Easily.
But they went back to their roots, back to where it all began.
It's a powerful statement. Shows their humility, their commitment to their vision. They weren't satisfied with just proving flight was possible.
Right.
They wanted to make it better,
Yeah.
safer, more practical. And it was that dedication that shaped the future of aviation. Their testing, their experiments, their constant drive to improve. It all laid the groundwork for what we see today.
It's amazing to think just a few decades after that first flight at Kitty Hawk, airplanes were carrying passengers across continents.
No.
The world became smaller. The way we live, the way we interact, it all changed.
It speaks to the power of human ingenuity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That ripple effect from one groundbreaking invention.
And that's really what McCullough captures so well in this book. It's not just a story about airplanes. It's about the human spirit, the
Yeah.
power of curiosity, determination, the belief that anything is possible if you dare to dream big.
Wright brothers, they remind us that even with doubt, skepticism, setbacks, the human spirit can achieve incredible things.
Their journey is an inspiration for anyone who's ever dared to dream big.
And as we wrap up our deep dive into the Wright brothers, well, let's carry that inspiration with us. Let's remember their legacy, their commitment, and that belief in the power of the human spirit.
It's a powerful thing.
If you're ready to experience the full scope of this story, we highly encourage you to check out The Wright Brothers by David McCullough. We've got an affiliate link in the show notes. It's a journey you won't want to miss. So until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep reaching for the skies.